We are live now.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our board meeting. As usual, we'll start with the public forum part, and I think we have two people here today that want to make some comments to our board for consideration and vote now. So the first one we have is Aaron. Yeah. So would you like to come up, Aaron, and tell us your story?
So while they're setting up the display, let me introduce myself. My name is Arindam Bose. I'm a former associate professor at the University of Canterbury, but now I have my own startup company where my goal is to help community and every individual. My startup company is called SQ Lyrics. So the idea here is to use the power of artificial intelligence, machine learning, sophisticated data analysis to look into problems, people's health. That's the main focus, but also of all community problems and other things which are all connected to health, public health issues. And what can we do to make people's lives better? So that's the main motivation for this work. Okay. And one of the opportunities here, of course, is to take a look at this situation where we see that the NZTA has proposed that they're going to bring down the speed limit from 70 kilometers to 50 kilometers through the corridors. And I'm only going to talk about Sheffield. The more complex analysis for all of Malvern and all of Selby District Council is possible. But in this presentation, I'm only going to focus on Sheffield Township. So I'd like to draw your attention to this graphic where you can see that this red rectangle denotes a very busy and important corridor of State Highway 73 that bisects the township of Sheffield. Here you can see that we've got the famous Sheffield Pie Shop, and here is a school. And what we are seeing here is this, that on an average, 2,800 vehicles pass through this corridor every day. It's a very important social corridor as well, because this is where you see a lot of people gather because they're going to go and pick up pies or the meat. Yeah. And here is a school where moms congregate and children's cross, and the Sheffield pool is around here. So what we have assumed is this, that suppose 50 crossings happen every day. We know that more than 50 crossings happen.
50 crossings across the road.
Across the road, okay. North-south, yeah. And suppose that, and this data, that there are and this data has come from 1,200 daily visitors that visit the Sheffield Pie Shop. So imagine that even 600 people were to cross these streets. Yeah. And we know from New Zealand NZTA data sets that 2,800 daily vehicles pass through this corridor, this direction, that direction. Okay. Regardless, there are opportunities of a vehicle colliding with a human being. And when that happens, there are two possibilities. Either that person is going to die, which is certain at 70 kilometers per hour, or that person has got a chance to live. And that chance increases if we decrease the speed from 50 to 30. So now I'm going to show you the second part of it, which is that when we have when we bring down the speed from 50 to 30, at 50 kilometers per hour, you're looking at a 27-meter stopping distance, which is almost like the width of the road at the moment that we have, and that's quite unsafe. At 30 kilometers per hour, you got a 12-meter stopping distance, which is far shorter and a greater chance for people to live. At 50 kilometers per hour, which is the proposed rate by NZTA, you got like 30% death rate. So people are going to die. One out of three persons who are going to be hit are going to die. At the moment, we are doing a lot more complicated analysis, but the preliminary analysis tells us that this is what is happening. So the 50 kilometers per hour, which is proposed by NZTA, is good for managing traffic. It is supportable. It is supportable because it's going to bring down the traffic to that extent. On the other hand, if we are going to take a look at the 30 kilometer per hour, if you can bring down only for a short stretch of like 500 meters, we are not even talking about a whole 1.2 kilometers, you're looking at less than 5% risk of death. What that translates to in real world is this, that instead of 1 or 2 deaths every year, you're looking at 1 death every 10 years to 14 years. And that makes a huge difference, particularly in view of the fact that recently we had a little child, a schoolboy, who lost his life because he was getting out of the school bus and a vehicle ran over, only because the speed limits were not probably in place or were not respected. So if we can put something like this, which is a standard case in most school zones in New Zealand anyway, to put them at 30 kilometers per hour. Now, what's the difference? The difference is in 24 seconds. So if you bring down the speed from 50 to 30 kilometers per hour, the maximum loss is 24 seconds. John often tells me that the fact that there are so few lives lost in Sheffield is like a miracle. It's like our luck. But if you take a look at the data that John sent me this morning, that luck is already running out. Because we used to have like 1, 0, 1 from 2020 onwards statistics of how many lives lost. 2025, we lost 5 lives.
No, not Sheffield.
No,
In the general area.
in the general area. Whereas the idea was like 5.
No. Sorry.
Yeah.
The corridor.
The corridor.
Oh, the corridor. Yeah.
Yeah, so you see that, I mean, regardless, the jump from 1 to 5 is a massive jump. And you can explain this because in terms of the owner of the pie shop, he says that he has calculated roughly 1,000 people visit his shop every day. And this is reasonable because, you know, the pie shop is getting more popular. People stop by, there's no other, you know, shop around there. And, you know, I mean, and the more the traffic will come, the higher the numbers are going to be. But this number of 24 second saving will remain static because that's a mechanical device. So on that basis, I would recommend that that we all adopt that for the sake of saving our lives, for the sake of saving the lives of our children, we recommend that for a short corridor in Sheffield Township, the speed limit be reduced further from 70 to 50 to now 30 kilometers per hour. I can assure you that this will save children's lives, this will save people's lives, and we're going to see far less death than we are seeing at the moment.
All right, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any board members like to question Aaron?
Yeah, there's an issue with your 30 kilometres an hour because the legislation doesn't allow for that. The current legislation does not allow for 30 kilometres an hour. The minimum on that class of road is 50 kilometres an hour, which is what we are proposing. So there are a whole lot of other things that would need to change for 30 kilometres an hour to be possible. That's not to say I don't agree with you. I do agree with you, but that's one of the constraints that we're currently under.
Is it not legislation to reduce the speed when you're travelling past the school at 30 kilometres an hour?
40, is it?
No, past the school is 30, and it's targeted for pickup and drop off times.
Yeah, the variable speed limit signs.
But isn't that a school in the corridor?
Yeah, there is a school.
It's over the railway line. It's not.
It's not on the state highway 3.
No, not on the state highway, but there is a school across.
Question, would it be possible to put a variable speed limit sign there with a pedestrian sensor on it? I'm just asking, because that would give you an effective slowing down 30 k's from 50 k's, if 50 k's was adopted. and pedestrians were there and you had some sort of proximity alert, as pedestrians were around, that it changed to 30k, is that worth asking the LTSA if that would be allowed? Because that would also apply to Arthur's Pass then, wouldn't it, Gary?
Yes.
Is it the same sign that we got on Greenhill Road?
Yeah.
Flashes miles away.
Yeah.
Slow down
Yeah.
50, and you're doing 70 or something.
Yeah. But if it's the one like the one at West Melbourne,
Yes, that would definitely answer the question, and
we
that
right.
sign would be a much better one
Hmm.
than putting a, say for example, a zebra crossing,
Hmm.
because that would force a car to stop rather than this one helps to
Hmm.
glide by and save time.
All right, that's good. Now, time's marching on. Is there anything else there to comment on? Well, seems no more discussion. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
And out of that discussion, we've come up with a couple of ideas,
Yes.
and as Steve will tell you, we've got a meeting with Transit shortly.
Okay.
So we can take this idea along and see if we can get some traction.
Sure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Our next public forum is Mr. Williams. Anything?
Over here.
Oh, over here, sorry. Yeah.
I'd just like to comment on that. Thank you very much. I'd just like to comment on what was just being said. I travel from Springfield to Christchurch a lot, and we've got a Springfield sign of 50, a Sheffield sign of 70, a Kirwee sign of 70, a Darfield of 50, and a West Melton at 60. And frankly, it's very difficult to remember which one is which, even if you've done it 1,000 times, and that actually can sometimes make it worse. I think the whole lot should be the same, which is kind of where we might be going to. Anyway, look, I haven't come with any PowerPoints or anything of that sort, because I really didn't expect to be here. But I was fascinated to hear about the idea of trains, of commuter trains out in this area. I managed to look after the Springfield railway station, and I've got a bit of a passion for rail transport. I'm not a steam nut. I don't care about that. I'm interested in rail transport as rail transport. And frankly, we used to have commuter rail in this area from Rangiora to Christchurch, and we used to have it from Littleton to Christchurch. But in the great rubber-tired age, we all said, no, let's not do that anymore. But now we're doing it again all around the world. And there's a report coming to you today, which I'm most impressed with. I think this could be a real game changer for us. Apart from anything else, if it came to Springfield, it would help the property values, which are terrible up there. Not that I mentioned that, but it's the thing is that we're getting the population is growing huger all the time, and it's spreading all over the place. Just look at the subdivisions around West Melton. Look at the subdivisions around Darfield, and not so much Springfield, but Kirwee's pretty big, and of course we've got Rolleston, and so there's a huge need, in my view, for trains into Christchurch from here. And if anyone wanted to ask me about where you could corral the trains overnight, Springfield would be excellent. They used to have a railway depot, and it's got a station waiting to help people to move in to be the management of the whole thing, right? Kiwi Rail owns a beautiful station there, which no one's using. Anyway, look, you don't need me to rattle on, but I just want to say that I support the idea hugely, and we'd really like to be part of the whole thing should things start to move ahead. All right, that's really all my.
I won't ask any questions. You're obvious what you're supporting, and Samantha's work is mainly staged for event trains. But,
well, the event trains too. I forgot to mention that the event train. It's a clever thing, isn't it?
You can start somewhere.
This man Paul Richards is clever stuff, and so yeah, let's do it.
Thanks, Simon. Thanks for your encouragement.
Yeah.
I will just say that, yes, we're starting with the events train as a run-off, but that is the plan to sort of move towards commuter train, and we have to start somewhere. So starting off with a one-off events, we'll gather information and hopefully we'll add to the business case at sometime in the future for commuter trains.
Absolutely.
Thank
Thank you.
Would you ask the question? Simon, back in the day, we had those beautiful old rail cars.
Yes,
In terms of operating costs, one would imagine a rail car would be cheaper than a full-on train for commuting. And one of the problems is Kiwis are addicted to point-to-point transport. If a rail car could be configured to have room on board for e-bikes and e-scooters,
oh, you
would
definitely have
that
to
be a
do that.
better option, do you think?
You definitely have to do that. Yeah, you would,
Yes.
and Wi-Fi
Well,
and all of that stuff.
all right, well, thank you, Simon, for coming along. and,
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thanks, John. Thanks.
All right, so we'll start the agenda items now. No apologies.
One
Chair,
more.
I don't write on us.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, better come up.
Thank you.
Sorry.
No, that's fine, that's
I'm
fine,
just
thank
looking,
you,
the clock's not slowing down. But welcome.
thank you.
Brian,
Those that
Brian,
don't
can you-
just have a seat.
Yep. Brian Donnelly from Sheffield, Sheffield Waddington area. So mine is quick and brief. First of all, I'd like to commend Mr. Basu on his talk there on traffic and speed limits, and also Mr. Williams. Something I witnessed yesterday which staggered me. I was down at the Cenotaph in Sheffield, having a look at the crosses which need a bit of cleaning up. And the school bus passed me by, and he stopped at one point and he laid off 6 children. Then he went further down the road about another 400 metres and he led off 8 teenagers from Darfield High School. Do you know what they did? They crossed a live railway line and then they had to cross the main road to get to the other side of Sheffield Village so they could go home. And I had never seen that before, and I thought, I wish I'd filmed it, because that's just crazy. The bus stops and they have to cross a live railway line, and then they have to stop and cross the main road, which we're all talking about, speed, traffic, whiz backwards and forwards, before they can get home. And we talk about health and safety, and anyway, I just wanted to point that out.
Both the young ones and the older ones. Or
I beg your
all
pardon?
did Both the primary and the.
Yep.
They all
Yep,
cross that.
they all crossed the road, yeah, and good on the elder kids, because they made sure the young ones were not running around too quickly. So anyway, that's just something I observed, which is not why I wanted to speak today. I've been hoisted by my own petard. It was a simple thing. All I wanted to do was put a bike track amongst the trees in Sheffield. I've biked through there, I walked my dog through there, and I've seen people on horseback walking, going through these trees. I mean, it's land that's not used. It doesn't interfere with the domain, which is a huge grassed area that's under-resourced. So I thought, hey, why don't we put a bike track in there? I bike. Friends of mine come with me and we do it. We just go, it's an L-shaped tree line. We come out at the other end and we carry on to Springfield. So I thought, well, if I'm going to do this, I better, out of courtesy, talk to council and just make sure, is it okay? Well,
Well, I
Did-
asked the question, is
Yeah.
it private land or is it part of the domain?
as part of the domain.
Okay.
Yeah, I've already established, yeah.
That's
yeah.
clear.
Yep,
And
so
this
that's,
is the trees along the main road.
no, they're inside the domain. So
Yes,
when you
I'm-
go through the domain gates,
They're on, yeah, they're on your.
they're on the domain land. At no point do the trees go past the main road. They stop well before that. There's some huge metal sheds, which you probably know, if you know the domain.
Yeah.
There's a tree line that goes halfway down, then it just goes into the shingle. So I thought, well, I'll ask council if it's okay. I don't know what I've done, but yesterday or the day before, I met with a young lady called Charlotta Hayde, who's the senior reserves officer. Cut a long story short, what I thought was going to be a simple task of, can we use this land? And I asked the arborist who was in attendance, Mason, can you tell me where we can't go so we don't damage any trees or any roots? So I felt I was being quite conscious of the environment. Anyway, as a result, I've been asked if I can put in a couple of pages of a programme to discuss track outlines, what trees and we need, any associated costs from it. And all I want to do is just point out or ask the community board to consider endorsing a proposed bike track, because that is what council have asked me to do. That is what Charlotta Hayde said
I suggest, and she was doing her job, and I'm not criticising her. She was just saying, look, we need to dot our I's, cross our T's, go to the community board. All I want you to do is consider it. I'm not asking for a yes or a no today, because I intend to go away from here having advised you that I'd like to put this bike track down, which, by the way, I'm assured will be reasonably successful. People will use it. So that's all I want, just to let you know that I'm going to put the proposal forward, but I will add the detail at a later date.
Well,
So,
thank you very much. Yes.
Yeah, that's it. Any questions? Any?
Yeah, go for it. I think it's a good idea.
Okay, thank you. Sorry.
I've actually already started communicating with
Yep.
them as well, so then it has been coming from me saying that you're wanting this.
Yes.
So there
Yep.
is from
The
me and
issue,
support coming from
the issue
me.
I've had, and it's no one's
Yeah.
fault, is that staff have changed. And
Yeah.
so there's been a gap in what we started to do and where we're at, and staff have come and gone,
Yeah.
which is the way it is, I suppose. Sam, your train thing is gathering momentum right across the district.
Thank
So, yeah, I understand you've got to start somewhere. But yeah, keep going. I'm pretty sure you'll get the support.
All right, right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yep. There's no apologies today. We're all here, aren't we? So we can tick that off. Any extraordinary general business that you'd like to note down for the meeting? Any members?
I've got one for the Darfield Residents Association.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
You'll bring it up at
Thanks,
the end of the meeting? Okay, yeah. Okay, and that's extraordinary business, not general business.
Sorry,
You're gonna do, it's extraordinary business.
oh, general business, sorry, sir.
Okay, right, we're down to general business now. I would like to just briefly talk, it's not on the agenda in the report, about portfolios for some of the things that we as a board do. In other words, have one person report to council rather than 4 or 5 or something. So we can talk about that later if we've got time. But, well, yeah. All right, we'll now move to any conflict of interest? I think there is it? Okay, none there.
Just a note to the board that I made an error when I uploaded my interest register, and I'll correct it for next time.
Correspondence, then. We've had that response from the education department. Does that come up under correspondence? Or is it next meeting? Next meeting, okay. We've done the public forum. So next item, number 8 on the agenda, confirmation of the minutes of 29th of January. And can I
have a comment. Oh,
well, let me just someone move it and then we'll take someone move it and we'll take the discussion.
I'd like to move and accept it.
Okay. I second it and open for discussion.
yes.
Samantha?
Yes. So at the last meeting, in my verbal update, which is on the recording, I indicated that during the elections, I wanted to communicate with my community in a variety of ways, because not everyone was technological savvy. And it was a note to the board that I wanted to put a publication in the newspaper to gain community feedback on some activities like the trains. And I would like it noted in the minutes. It was on the recording, but I would like it actually noted in the minutes.
All right, so addition to the minutes.
Yes, yes, please.
All right, that can be done. So I'll put the resolution on the page. Aye.
Aye.
Actions. Now, the chief executive report, Steve, discussed on the action table.
Yes, I'll take the actions report as noted. Just I guess with the volume and of the traffic discussion and staff availability, that the next meeting of the board will feature a more fulsome briefing on transport matters within the Malvern ward. I've also confirmed that James Cagle from MCTA will be part of that briefing as well. And I think that's going to be a good chance for the board to hear from staff and from James, and also to ask a number of questions, but also to bring some of these matters to light.
Mhm.
And then the following meeting, and this was in regards to Alan's amendment, that we start looking at how can we space and plan for space for schools in the Ministry of Education. That in April, Bob will be here to talk about the planning framework and to talk about how we can influence and support central government keeping to speed with some of the development going on in our communities, with a specific focus out in Melbourne. And we'll provide a bit of the background and context for the board. So that we'll hopefully take care of that one, Alan, as well.
That's the April meeting.
That will be at the April meeting, and we apologise. Like, we'd ideally like to have done it earlier, but with staff availability at the moment, it's just been a bit trying to balance it out. And I think the transport briefing is going to be quite a big conversation, obviously with what we've heard today, but also with the advocacy and the work you've been doing over the last couple of months. Actually, transport's a really big factor for this board because it connects our communities together. So I figured that's going to be the primary focus for that one, if you're happy. And then, yeah, look, happy to take the action unless there's any questions on the actions table. Other than that, okay, well, they will keep driving us forward, and we'll keep adding to the actions table from this meeting.
But I just comment that I noted in here the roles and delegations that council have already given to the board. It's more than we had. It's only just a start, isn't it? Well,
It's only just a start. Well, it's entirely up to you.
no, but there's some quite good things there.
Yeah.
Would you like to just go through them?
Well, I think if you're comfortable, I'll work into my report now, which is where one of your recommendations is to accept the change to the delegation. And as I mentioned at the council meeting, when council supported this endorsement a couple of weeks ago, is that I think this might be the first step in a number of steps that this board takes in terms of increasing the delegation, but it's driven by you. And council staff will support the board in establishing what further delegations look like, but ultimately the board will get to own what that conversation looks like.
Thank you, Steve.
So if you're happy, Mr. Chair, I'll work into my executive report. I'll take the report mostly as read. I guess there's three decisions in this one. Firstly is that you nominate a board member to work with my team and wrapping up the correspondence around the future safety improvements for traffic within this ward. And if you could want to nominate someone, then we can fill the blank in and then make that part of the recommendation.
Well, I can answer that as that's one of the portfolios that to come up with.
Okay.
And we're going to have a workshop perhaps, well, before the next meeting.
Yeah.
It might even be the day of the meeting for an hour just to talk among yourselves and choose who we think to do that for you.
Okay. I'm just mindful, if you don't mind, Mr. Chair, that the next meeting will also have NZTA there, and if we could have something written between now and then, that might actually help guide some of the discussion. So
we can do that, can't we? We'll sort of a workshop meeting out.
Okay.
If the board was comfortable, I'd be happy to take that role on. Barry and I were discussing it yesterday, and I know other parts are more specific, more involved. So I'd be certainly leave that area to him. But I've been doing a lot of work on the traffic stuff.
Just so happens I got your name down already for it, but you haven't been asked yet.
Okay, well,
So we've got it.
Are we able to discuss it? Because I think I'd just like to add my thoughts before we.
Well,
put names.
that's why I think we have the workshop. Just
Yeah.
Yeah.
makes sense.
If you could have the workshop relatively quickly, so then I can put my team in touch with one of you, and then happy that we leave that recommendation on the table.
Yeah.
Cool. The next one is it relates to the Melbourne Community Board Community Services Awards proposed event, and the resolution is seeking, I guess, the board's interest in, do you want to do this again in 2026?
Well, it's 2 years. It's been biannual for some number of years now, hasn't it? And we need to make a decision whether we want to hold it this year and perhaps later in the year in October, but we can think about it and start planning for it now. But any members' thoughts?
Personally, I'd like to have them again. I think there's so many people that do incredible things in our community, and I'd like to be able to celebrate it.
Celebrate's the right word for it too, I believe. It's
Right.
definitely think it's a good idea.
Any further comments?
I think it's a good idea. Do we want to do it this year to keep with the,
Yeah,
Is that what we
decide.
are?
Yeah. Got
Okay.
funding available, Steve?
That will be within the budget. I mean, you've got general expenditure there, and from historic records, it doesn't appear to be a huge cost to running this.
What months have they usually been running? You know,
Was it November or September?
It's
Some of
around that sort of September, November period of time.
so October might fit in pretty well.
I mean, you can determine
Yep.
what best fits with this board. I guess making a call now means you've got plenty of time to plan it and to allocate resource.
Okay.
It also would be in the new financial year. So you could actually then set aside some budget now in anticipation of the next financial year.
All right, thank you.
And I guess, and the last big decision here is around the role in delegations. The updated delegations manual is attached to the report. This is a procedural motion because council agreed to your recommendation at their meeting earlier this month. Staff have gone through and reflected that delegation into this document here, and all you now need to do is accept this version as your operating manual. And so they are the three substantive resolutions. So I'll leave to you, Mr. Chair, as to whether or not you want to take them individually or as a whole.
Well, let's do the last one first because that's the long-term plan and well, the delegated authorities, isn't it?
Mm.
And there's some pretty meaty stuff in there. And page 35 of the agendas, it starts off with the annual plan. And I just wonder how is this board going to carry that responsibility out? But you can't do it at a general meeting like this because you haven't got any time to do any research. Any ideas, Barry?
sorry, what was the
Any-
question?
Well, the question is how and when we're going to get information to make a submission to the annual plan.
Mhm. So doesn't that tie in with the 3-year plan and communicating that out to the community and then getting feedback from the community? And with that information, it then feeds into our annual plan,
Okay.
long-term plan.
John, can I ask you, what happened last year?
Nothing.
Nothing.
But my thoughts constructively moving forward would be that this is, I think, the without preempting a later discussion, the fact that if the board meets every second month, it means that for future times in the non-meeting month, it can schedule a workshop. So moving forward, I think that probably there needs to be, in addition to the transport workshop, another workshop sort of about middle of March to come together and have a look, as Samantha said, about the long-term plan for the board, but also involving the community about what submissions, if any, does the board want to make to the long-term plan? Because is it April that they need to be in with council?
The
Steve?
26th of April is when consultation closes.
Yep.
So that will be ahead of your April meeting, if my maths serves me correct. And so you may, you can put a submission in on the very last day, but it means that you've got up until your April meeting to resolve and work on a final submission that the board can then decide on through the normal regular meeting schedule.
So we need to sort of go out to community in the next month to get feedback and
Well, a couple of weeks.
couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we really need to look at what's in the current long-term plan and then pick out the pieces that are relevant to Malvern and then run a ruler over that as to are they still valid and add any new items that might then come out of community discussion. That's the way I see it kind of
That-
falling, because otherwise we're going to end up sitting here trying to do something cold, and there'll be huge gaps.
So if I can add to that, Barry, is that the council is going to be asked to accept the draft or the consultation on the draft budget on the 11th of March, and the plan is from the 16th of March to undertake public consultation. So you'll see the proposal on the 16th as to what we are looking to do, and obviously we've heard loud and clear around reducing rates for the community, and also the other big driver is we see the significant reform coming at local government from the central government, with 13 odd bills going through the process at the moment about what the future looks like for this sector. And so we're also keeping an eye on the future because that all come into effect within the next LTP period. We don't want to wait for all of this to land on us. We're trying to move ourselves to a position of being able to be more agile at that point. But certainly the proposals are rates, lower rates impact, and the community will have a say on what that impact looks like and whether or not that's enough.
So, Steve, the community board would meet after the 16th to have a workshop on this.
Yeah, that.
Take
I
out,
think,
we'll know what's coming to be talked about, and we'll have some other ideas in. So we'll, who's got a calendar here? 16th?
16th of March is a Monday.
What's Thursday that week?
19th.
19th. I'd say we just tentatively say, pencil it in for that meeting, and you see if you can get stuff to it.
Yeah, I know.
You'll be
Got a meeting at Coleridge that day on the 19th.
19th. What time?
10 AM to noon, is it?
It may be changing, but at this stage, yes,
All I can say is what's in the diary.
yeah, it is true.
Is it a morning or afternoon meeting?
10 to 12.
So we could do an afternoon meeting.
Take me out to get there, but yeah,
Yeah, we could do
we
two.
could do
We
it
could do it
3
2
o'clock
o'clock or
or
whatever.
3.
Or, yeah.
Okay, pencil in for Thursday afternoon, the 19th. Thank you.
Would you like any staff there, or you're
Yes,
happy just?
I know, I think I personally, I think we need some staff there to guide us on, I mean, otherwise we could have to go back and ask them.
And you'll have at least one councillor, and there may be another or two who might be willing to join the conversation.
Right.
So I think if happy to work with John and you, Mr. Chair, on booking something in.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's here after.
Why not?
Get it up.
You're cool.
Well, if it's easier for staff, we can all go down to Rolleston, so it's,
We're in your hands.
what do you think? Board members?
What's closer
Sorry.
to Coleridge? Is that where you are?
My suggestion would be that if there's going to be staff and we're going to have the invitation to if everyone agrees, the 2 at-large councillors and maybe another councillor might be interested, that the transport would probably equal out with ride sharing at Rolleston.
Go to Rolleston, all right.
I'd say about 2 PM or something like that to give people a chance to get back from Lake Coleridge.
Okay, tentatively booked for Rolleston.
Cool. We'll do the arrangements. Paul's got the.
It's the 19th of March.
Before we move on, can I ask a question about the NZTA, about the nominated board member? Yeah, so what was the background around needing just one board member to engage with staff with NZTA?
I think from an efficiency and effectiveness point of view, is so that the board can channel all the feedback. And it sounds like you're talking about the idea of portfolios and having one lead to coordinate the board's response. It'd be slightly easier for our team to work with one person, and that one person coordinates the feedback from the 5, rather than to try and coordinate 5 bits of feedback, because there will be probably a few staff would be working on this, and so it was more of an efficiency thing. But if you don't want to go there, you don't need to accept that, and you can put that on the table and we can resolve it at a later date.
So we haven't actually had a chance to talk about it as a board.
At our workshop,
Yeah.
we'll
Yeah,
put
we'll
on
talk about
the
it.
things that have portfolio for NZTA.
Yeah, and transport's something that's coming through loud and clear.
Yeah.
Is one of those really key areas for the board to have an acute interest in, but so are reserves, so is planning. And so there are some really key areas that you may want to just go channel all of this through one person, and then that person does the coordination with a few of our team.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
It depends, because sometimes if you're having to engage the community with specific issues, it's good to talk to the person directly so you understand the issue, and going through a third person sometimes can create more problems. So I'll hold that conversation until the workshop, and then, yeah, cover it up.
The workshop, is that separate from the one to do the long-term plan, or do you include that?
Separate.
I'm doing separate.
Another one.
Okay, and the date for that one? We got a
We haven't
date?
done it yet.
Okay, that's
Um,
cool.
Oh, so
Yeah.
what are we talking about on the 16th of March then? Which
We're
workshop is
talking
that?
about
Long-term.
No,
long-term plan,
Long-term
plan.
plan.
what we're trying to get done for
Yeah.
Melbourne.
Yeah.
The workshop for the portfolio would be before that.
Yeah, should we book a date now while we're talking about it?
I'm quite ready for that yet. Let me just think about that.
You're going to be talking about that in general business at the end of the meeting, so maybe you can hold that over there.
Yeah.
Can we talk about it then?
Yep.
General business, okay.
I'm over in a second for the recommendations.
All right, well,
Oh,
Um,
sorry, John.
I'm happy to move that the delegation be accepted.
Before we move it, can we discuss the delegation? Is this 10.4?
Yep.
So 10.4 under 5. I'm not sure if that is a typo or error. So does the community board have a discretionary fund?
No.
No,
Okay,
we
so
did
that's
have-
not. I thought I would check because I feel like I have asked the question.
No,
for-
you do. Because
We
we
do.
have, remember, if the Darfield High School, it's basically your general expenses.
I thought that was a one-off,
Well,
but it can be
it
discussed.
can be discussed.
Okay, so-
Essentially, you don't have a line item called discretionary fund, but you do have a general expense line. That
Yes.
means that on application, and last year, for example, there was some money granted to the Darfield High School for the end of year awards, I think, John.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is essentially a discretionary use of your general fund towards the group. So in a sense, you do.
So is it the general expenses is our discretionary
Yeah.
fund? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have one.
Yeah.
Brilliant, thank you.
You are in control of your budget, and essentially it's all discretionary.
all right, we'll get that meeting date later in the meeting.
Yeah.
For that. If we should we do a report, have we?
So you're dealing with recommendation 4 first. John's moved it. Need a seconder for that. Alan's is the seconder.
Any further discussion? All in favour, say aye.
Aye.
Carry.
So then you've got recommendations 1, 2, and 3. I think what I've heard is that you're proposing to leave item 2, recommendation 2 on the table. So that's not resolved. So it's just dealing with recommendation 1 and 3. So 1 is to receive the report. This is on page 15. Okay, so
Yeah.
you're dealing with that. So number 1 and number 3, and leave 2 unresolved until you've run your workshop.
All right, so we're going to put recommendations 1, 3 and 4 there, are we?
You've done 4,
Done
so it's
3,
just 1 and 3.
1 and 3. Someone move, please.
Yes.
I'm not clear where you're getting that from.
Page
Here.
15 in your,
Here.
in your agenda.
One.
Oh, okay. Oh, the ones up, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
All right, so all in favour, say aye.
Aye.
Yeah, carried, thank you.
Bring that with movers.
Yeah, you moved it.
I'm up to
John
something. I
seconded
didn't hear that. Yes, that was good.
John seconded.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And you can let me know once you've done your workshop who that person is. If you reach a person or peoples, then we'll start working with them on drafting a note to enter to.
But we're going to talk about it in general business.
Yeah, you will.
Yeah.
Right,
Meeting options. options. So
Now, the last thing is to talk about is the meeting options. And, page 38, I think it is, isn't it? Steve, where you go?
So we've had a couple of chats about the future financial year around how you want to set up your meeting structure, whether or not you want to run it monthly. We've given you a breakdown of the cost. We've given you a breakdown of location. Or the other option is you run it bi-monthly and you either run it here or at Rolleston, and we've given you a sense of what the costs look like. This would be, the costs are a targeted rate, and so this, whatever option that the board today recommends, will go into the annual plan, and that will be then come into effect from 1 July.
Can I ask a question to that, Steve? If we adopted the 6 meetings in Darfield one at the top targeted rates, the reduction in targeted rate, is that guaranteed to come off our ratepayers' rate bills?
That's how we would set the targeted rate. So it would be,
Yeah, so it's guaranteed to come off, so we can make a saving immediately for our ratepayers of 74,000. I like that.
that's the cost that would be applied and then split across all the households within the ward. So,
Yeah.
but it's a lot cheaper than doing 12 times a year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um,
Now I understand. Cool.
so happy to take any questions on the paper.
Could I have a question to that? That cost there, can we have an extra figure that we can know about if we have run workshops? So if we have to get a workshop and get staff members out from town, obviously there's going to be a cost involved there. Does that come up from a discretionary fund, or is that coming out of the targeted rate?
This is just for your formal meetings.
Okay, cool.
Like we did last year, like this is the formal meeting cost. This is the formal cost of having these formal meetings in
Right.
public, producing agendas, producing papers. If you're running workshops and you need staff advice and guidance or help, we'll be here.
Cool.
Yeah, so there is no restriction on that. And obviously if you choose to go bi-monthly, how you choose to set up what you do in the other month can be more time spent with the residents associations, talking about what's going on in a more localized, but you could do anything you want. And then it's just whatever support you need, just let me know.
All right. Can I ask you a curly one?
No. Yes, of course you can.
Why does the community board have to be charged? I mean, the general purpose rate presumably covers councillors.
Yeah.
Is that clear?
So,
It's clear to me,
so
because I reckon we're paying twice for it.
not quite.
Okay.
The not quite is that your REM is covered under the targeted rate, and that isn't a general rate issue because not everyone in our district benefits from having a community board. This is the only community board in the district, and so there are unique costs that only and benefits that are only attracted to the Malvern ward. So Ellesmere Springs don't have a community board, so they don't have representatives like this. They don't have meeting costs. So there is a clear difference there.
Thank you very much. Are there any further questions?
Mr. Chair, feedback from the community, Colgate, Kirwee, the locals in Sheffield and Springfield, and in Darfield, are quite strongly for the idea of the 6 meetings and then the meeting with the residents' communities. So that would be option 1. So that's the feedback from my community contacts.
Yeah.
That's pretty clear, isn't it?
Yeah. I just wanted to add, so on the table on page 41, so we've got operational cost for options 1, 2, 3, and 4. But I couldn't see the base cost, so I've gone back into the last report we had, which was the base cost was 156,000 for the year. So if you compare all the costing of all the options, the savings, the largest savings is a large saving is on option 1 with 81,000 saving. but option 3 is the most with 91,000 savings. Would the community have taken a different option had they sort of had that information? I'm not sure. More
Well,
saving, yeah.
From my point of view, I think it's important we have people here.
What's that?
It's important we have the board meetings in Dartford. Not,
Yeah.
I mean, we do enough of Rolleston now, but people
Yeah.
want to see us here. So, all right, we've been a saving, but
Mm.
you can make savings all day long and get less and less service.
Yeah, I'd agree with the chair. The beauty of having it here is that we can have a decent public forum.
Mhm.
And we've got some, the input we get from the members of the public who turn up here is really valuable.
And whilst I haven't had any specific conversations with anyone about the financial savings holding it in Rolleston, the clear message has been that symbolically it's the Malvern Community Board, and in my words, Rolleston gets their share of the cake, so let's not give them the icing.
Thank you.
And the reason why I put that as the preferred option as well is for that very same reason. I think there is, this is the Malvern ward, this is within the heart of the district, and actually, to your same point, even that I think the value of having the community be able to attend this close to home is actually, that's worth the savings that you could find versus option 3. So I think option 1 is, I think a really safe and really a good option for the community and for you.
All right, well,
And you like coming out here.
I love coming out here because I got the Darfield pie today.
Oh, good man.
the first one.
No, I just haven't got my timing right. So.
Bit of bypass Sheffield on the way through.
Well,
The airports are pretty good.
Yeah, well, I'm working on a plan to get up to Sheffield soon and Springfield. So yeah.
All right, well, we've got a resolution to put, have we?
Yeah, so the recommendations are.
Yeah. Well, it's an important decision to meet 6 times a year, but it gives us a chance to meet the community 6 times a year too.
Yes.
So I think it's a win-win for everybody.
Yes.
And so I'll put the resolution, perhaps it's carried. Someone move it. I'll move it as chair.
I'll second it.
You've said that. Thank you.
I just had a question.
There you go.
So what is the intent on when we would start it? Like
So-
when would we start the 6th?
August the first. August the first one.
So you can meet in, because at the moment you're meeting monthly. You could make your first meeting of this cycle in July or August. You can make that call. And that might be something you want to talk about as to how do you want to set that calendar up. Once you've agreed what your start point is, just let the governance team know, and then we'll adjust the governance calendar so we can then advertise.
To go backwards from the last Thursday in December, because we're not going to meet then.
No,
That's right.
you are not.
We're not. So therefore it's the last in November and two monthly before that. So that's where the target sits.
You've worked out the science there on that one.
Yeah.
Barry.
So we started.
You don't want a
July.
Christmas party?
Whatever that is.
Yeah.
All right. Let's solve that problem.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Now, what's the reports now? Can I welcome, do I see Sumi?
Hello.
Hello, you've arrived.
Thank you, sorry.
Go back and cut that one.
Well, I'll just take some advice from Steve here. I thought with Samantha's report, we've got to have some Sumi there. Nice to do it twice. So
do Samantha's report first, and then pause, go into public forum, allow Sumi to come in and talk, and then finish public forum, then go and discuss.
so you wouldn't put that, but that's
But that's your report. So
It's
that's
included
the way
in my
to go. So
report.
take Samantha's report first, and then bring Sumi to the table.
all right. We've got a resolution here. Sumi will come to the, we'll go into public forum after we've got Samantha's report. So and we've got support here from other people from Bitsu. So I think that we'll move you from 6th to 1st.
Okay.
And
Yep.
Is that all right with you?
Yes.
Okay.
Does the presentation need to be set up for Sumi in the meantime? would be great. Thank you. So I will assume the board report is read, and then I will just provide some highlights. So the new bus shelter. So I continue to work with council on progressing with the installing of the new bus shelter. NZTA does not have funding to build the intended bus bay that we thought we were going to have. However, the stopgap solution is that NZTA will support installing the bus shelter at the current location. And I'll continue to work with council on the implementation plan for that. State Highway 73 and Courtney Road. So the Kiwi community raised the safety concerns around a very busy junction around State Highway 73, Courtney Road, Tramway Road intersection of Kiwi. I met with NZTA and we went through the crash data over the last 20 years. There was about 16 crashes over that time. NZTA have a collective risk rating of medium high for that junction. So they've agreed to submit a funding application for 2027 to 2030 to provide a right-hand turning bay north and south going into Courtney Road. It will look very similar to the bays at Hoskins Road on State Highway 73. So the next step will be to understand allocation of funding, and I will continue to engage with NZTA on that for the coming months. Infrastructure and water concerns. Kiwi Community Association has raised a few concerns, a couple of them that I will just highlight. One was the possible use of town water by contractors in the new subdivision. So I engaged with council, provided the resource consent. The developers have got permission to use town water. They have followed all the resource consenting required. There is a bulk extraction point, which is 2 or 3 meters from the fire hydrant. They're not supposed to use, they don't have permission to use the fire hydrant. And if anybody does, they have been communicated to use SnapSend and Solve and send it to myself to follow up. Maybe there was a misunderstanding because the connections were so close together. I'm unsure. But all of that information has been provided back to the Kiwi Community Association. There are also other issues that I've been engaged with, and I will form part of that with my March report. I won't go through it for today. The other highlight was issues with the construction traffic at Suffolk Road, and Hamish from SHIG has confirmed they've closed that entrance on Suffolk Drive as of last week. And all truck traffic should use the contractor's exit that's been created. There will still be light vehicles going through Suffolk Drive, but not the heavy vehicles. Malvern Public Artwork Project. So we did discuss this last month, but I did have a community member ask me what the decision was, and I wasn't quite sure what we came to. So I tried to look at the minutes, but I wasn't clear myself on where we landed with that, or where council landed with that for the artwork. So I would like, some feedback to pass on.
Well, I thought we just, Councillor Berry, you got a comment on that?
Yeah, I was going to say, from the Colgate meeting last night, their general impression was, for a variety of reasons, it should stay. That's just because the meeting, they only meet 2 monthly.
That the
Colgate.
artwork should stay, you mean? Yeah.
Be put up, in other words. Okay, they're in favour. Are they one of the few communities are, or is there more than one?
Green Tunnel were quite keen to look into it a wee bit more. They love the art as well. But they'd prefer someone local, ideally.
And that's what that Darfield Art, I forgot what the Colour Society also said, they were keen to have it.
The issue on the feedback that I got was that it seemed a bit like Hobson's choice. If you don't use it, do you lose it? And then it goes equivalent amount of money, 20,000, gets spent somewhere else. And if that's the reality, then let's not cut our nose off to spite our face. We might as well go with it, even though most people would prefer that I've spoken to, that the money be ring fenced and then reallocated to something more community minded within the area.
Feedback I got as well. But the other interesting thing is the Dartford Residents Association are looking at a mural potentially on the back wall of the farmlands buildings they've been looking for to beautify the rail area. And perhaps some, if we didn't have the artwork out here, some funding from that could be used towards paying for that. And that's definitely a community thing, because it would be the kids at the high school doing the work.
I think, because I think what I've heard from my recollection of the last meeting and this one is that there are pros and cons, and there's fors and against on this. But I think if the board, and you may not need to resolve it now, but if the board were, before the next time Evan comes to talk to the council as part of his Malvern, that he makes a point of actually saying this is the feedback for council to consider, and it could be something along what John has proposed, which is we want to keep the art here, but we don't maybe want to do this thing. There are some other things. But I think, yeah.
So we're still waiting on a decision.
Well, actually, the council's waiting on the Malvern Community Board for the feedback. And I appreciate you've got lots of community feedback, but it's actually for this board to give us, to give me a direction to go yes or no.
Yeah. So do we funnel all the feedback that we had at the last board meeting to yourself?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Good. I'd be willing to move if someone wants to second it, otherwise it goes nowhere. That the general feeling among the community is that the money allocated, $20,000, be ring fenced and community input undertaken to decide how that's best spent.
In Melbourne.
All right, so that means that we've got a policy we can take back to council straight away.
Provided it was spent in Melbourne.
In
Yeah,
Melbourne.
sorry.
Yeah, I did that.
But the previous communication was that it would go back to the pool for,
Well, this counteracts that.
Yes.
okay.
We'll make our own puddle.
No, so we're requesting to the council not to give it back to that
That's right.
pool
Yep.
and to use it for something else, correct? Okay. So I
For
support,
which the board would make a decision.
yes.
Yes.
What project it is.
Yeah.
I mean, personally, if it was something that was linked to some art, I would be more favourable. That was an option, of course.
Yep, sorry.
Well, I'm happy to amend the motion, sorry.
Yeah.
Amend the motion so that it be spent in Melbourne on an art related project.
Okay, thank you. Well, got a resolution being made by John and seconded by
Seconded, same. I will.
Sam. Any further discussion? All in favour, aye.
Okay.
It's carried, thank you.
Carry on. So 3-year strategy plan. So I supported facilitating the workshop at the last month around the board providing feedback for the 3-year plan. It has been drafted. Everyone's had a chance to feedback. I guess the next stage is to have it loaded onto the website for wider community feedback. I do have one more amendment to make. Is the board happy for it to go on the website now?
Well, can I speak for the chair from that? I've tabled copies of the Heskett Ward thing, and I like some amendments similar to that.
Before it goes on the website?
Yes, yeah. And to make it just a wee bit more.
Once yeah, do you want me to come back to the board, or are you happy once I've made that amendment that it goes?
Before it goes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's only, we're talking not long way, but I think we can make it a bit more user friendly and engage the people a wee bit more in it.
Yes,
They call theirs a living document.
yes.
We didn't have that.
No,
We had a document, this is it. So
yes.
I'm just trying to get that sorted out.
So I mean, I don't have to bring it back to the board. I can just send you a copy for you to have a look at and then say, okay, I can put it on the website.
I think the board need to see it, Emma.
Okay,
As the chair.
well,
Yeah.
we'll come back to the next.
It needs to come
meeting.
back to the board.
Okay.
I'm not happy with it just going to chair.
I'll amend it and send it, and we will table it at the next meeting.
Okay, thank you. Does that have you got through your report yet?
No, let's keep going. Tawera Malvern commuter train trial proposal. So I have sent out the proposal now to all the community associations and community groups, and I have got good feedback around it. And the trial is a phased approach, starting with one-off events express train service that had already been planned to go from Rolleston into town, and I have been working with Mainland Rail to extend that out to Springfield. There have been a few options discussed, and we're still working on a feasible option for the community. There are lots of different factors to consider: timing, cost, safety. I know there was a post around doing a 660 concert, but that's not really a viable option because the train would have to leave at 3:45 to get into town for the concert starting at 4. The concert doesn't finish at 11 at night, which means the train will only arrive back at Springfield at 2 a.m. in the morning. So there's lots of other factors to consider. But we are considering the options, and the next stage is to do a cost analysis on the options, and then I will communicate back out to the wider community.
Thank you.
The last thing is Ubetsu's sister city. So just before Sumi comes and presents, I'll just provide a background of what I'm seeking the board a discussion and agreement on. So
you, excuse me, you're aware that we're going to go into public forum when Zoom starts talks. We're going to move it out of this meeting.
yes.
So
Do you want me to wait till after the?
well, I don't want it twice. I'd like to hear in public forum part what Sumi's going to do and see how it works and what you've got in mind. How it is.
I think Samantha probably can finish her piece, and you know this presentation that's coming up. So
Yeah. So I just wanted to give some background.
Yeah, is there some background that needs to?
Give us a bit of background, please.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then we'll move into public forum.
Yes, and then we'll talk about the actions to move after Sumi's presentation.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so in 2019, MCB identified, in 2019, January 2019, MCB moved that the Melbourne Community Board lead and manage a development of a Japanese garden in Tussock Square area as a project for the year. The project was originated as a Melbourne board-led initiative linked with Ubetsu Sister City delegation to put a Japanese-style garden in Tussock Square. The garden was intended to reflect cultural connection and provide a contemplative public space within Tussock Square, and funding was to be supported via the Westview Special Fund Trust. Landscape concept plan was taken to a draft stage in 2020. In 2021, to respect the Ubetsu Sister City relationship, it was called a Sister City Garden. So the 3 actions that we will be looking to discuss is understanding the rationale from council regarding the Sister City Garden and why the project did not progress after the design phase. 2, obtain information on the distribution of the Westview Special Fund Trust. 3, put a new plaque in front of the cherry blossom tree to commemorate the 25 years anniversary, and 4, to plant a new tree to commemorate 10 years anniversary for the tree that has died, and to move the plaque to the garden. So I'll pause on those actions, and I welcome Sumi for a presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Where shall I stand?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's here. Okay, so I'm just going to introduce myself. I'm Sumi Hayakawa viewers, and I'm a teacher at Dalfield High School and teaching Japanese for 28 years. And because I'm working at the Dalfield High School, I have that was privileged to work for the Sister City relationship and a friendship relationship with the district, which is northern part of Japan. I'm a liaison. Do I speak too fast?
No,
That's fine.
Just, stop me. Because I'm Japanese, probably, pronunciation not that good. So please stop me. So because
Japanese, and I liaise with Yubitsu district. So I'm kind of the in the middle person. So this is Alison Rosanowski. She is a former Duffield High School principal, and also she is the chairperson of the Sister City Sister City Committee. And also, this is Karen Mayers. She was the former Melbourne Community Board member, and also you are the Sister City committee member too. And of course, Alison and Karen just been to Japan, and Yubitsu 25 years of anniversary, so they are coming to support me just in case I'm, not able to speak well. So thank you very much for coming and join me today. So I'm not going to go through where is Yubitsu and things. So obviously Yubitsu in Japan, and then all right. So this is the area. Am I gonna here you go. So this is the northern part of Japan, and then from Tokyo it's 1 hour and 40. So it's just like from here to Auckland. And then Yubitsu is a coast area and then very famous for the fishing. And at the moment, 7,000 people, so there is a population declining is the biggest problem for them. And the winter is a really, really severely cold, but they produce all these scallops and oyster, and then very similar to the Malvern area is grow potato and onions and so far. So a benefit of the friendship, I'm not going to read this for you, but is the important is the person to person and the peace for the world, because the Japanese people, they like to come to New Zealand, learn something from here, and also New Zealand people go to Japan and get to know them and then become a friend. And then that's the key factor of this relationship started, because we don't want it to have a conflict between New Zealand and Japan. We like to have a peace for the world in the world. This is the sustainability. So this is a reason for us to have a sister city or friendship relationship with them. It's been a really, really great 25 years. And we just had a ceremony in Japan for 25 years. So many sister cities are not actively happening, but this sister city is really, really active and people involved, and also they are become a friend and then inviting for a wedding, or someone passed away, sending some regards to them. So it is heart to heart establishing really well. So this is my suggestion, or I'd like you to get involved. 2027, so it's every odd year, Japanese students come to Melbourne area, and usually 2 adults. So our suggestion is 2027, if we can invite, they have a new mayor or delegation people. And because Aaron and Barry, you were here, just you've been become a member, and then you met the Yubitsu people here, and then they did a mural visit in the Malvern, and then you also, and John, and then Samantha we had a share with it, even we just have a talking the other day, so you know what's like in Yubitsu relationship already. So that was I was so privileged to talk to you beforehand, so you got some idea what's like anyway. So 2027, I'd like you to get involved and then with a Yubitsu relationship. So when your students here, and then please host them for the morning tea or afternoon tea, or give some, organize for a mini gift for the something to do with the memento from this area. If possibility adults coming, I'd like you to host the people. You might like to know what's the Japanese people like at home. I'm sure they'd be same anyway. or share the knowledge, because if they wanted to go to the sheep farm or buffalo cheese farm, I don't know where to go, and then I will rely on your knowledge, and then someone like to know that where the car racing place, and I like to rely on you, or if you then want to know where is the place for the dairy farm, we will rely on your knowledge. And then if you can come and guide and with these people, that will be extremely great for that. And then if possibility, if you are interested in going to Japan on your own cost, however, visit Japan would be really great too. So then you can bring that experience from Yubitsu and then explain some knowledge to this area. So that is, I just, I know you have only 10 minutes, so I speak too fast, but, and then I will leave with the tree business, also garden business to you and then Karen and Casalison, they know more. So that's all from me to speak. Are there anything you'd like to ask me?
Well, thank you very much. It's, you talk quickly, don't you?
I know, because I know you have a 10 minutes gap, so I just speak really quickly.
Sumi, can I just?
Sure,
interrupt you
yeah,
for
yeah,
one
yes,
second?
yes.
I noticed in the plan that I wasn't there at the meeting that these guys came up, but I was on holiday, sorry.
No problem.
Oh, no.
That, in fact, the idea of you guys going to Betsu is not on that plan to 30, which is an anniversary year, of course. That means this community board won't exist. There'll be a new set of people. And I would really seriously say to Samantha and all of you, you must consider going during your term. Okay, and as Sumi said, it's at your own cost. That has always been the case, even for the mayor and the chairperson and everybody else. There are no subsidies on that. I would also make the point, and I've always made this to Samantha, we last time when we were there saw a biogas plant. Now, we didn't get a chance to ask any questions. We were whizzed past, but it's actually using cow manure to make biogas. Well, we've got tons of cow manure here. And I think that if we send a delegation from this area, we should be sending somebody from Fonterra or a cow person to actually find out what they're doing. And
They're using it to make steam to drive electricity.
No, they're making methanol.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's a small experimental thing, but their council's actually involved. Their council put a lot of money into local stuff. For instance, into their new scallop factory, the council have put in employees. The other thing that I noticed, they bring in Vietnamese workers, and the way they look after their Vietnamese workers, there's some lessons, I think, for us there as well. And also on their farms, lots of little solar power.
Excuse me, I could just ask a thing. If we bring that forward to 29,
No, it's got to be 28. Or even or earlier, 27, before you guys did part.
Yes, 28.
Or
Thank you, Alice.
2 years contract? 3 years contract.
3
years.
All right, so it'd be 27, and that's.
Yeah, and it's usually September.
Yeah.
When we went last year, we did it in June so that community board could go before the elections, and no one went. Right? Okay. September is the best time.
July is the best time for Yubitsu.
Right, July, so, in that space of time. So sorry, Sumi.
No.
Meeting and Samantha, but I feel quite strongly that I would like.
It's a draft plan, we can amend it.
Yes.
To see you people have that opportunity.
Yes, however, if the community board people will suit September better, I can negotiate with Yubitsu, and then that's the date. That's date I can negotiate June, July or September, yes.
All right, well, look, it's not a
Sorry.
2 years, it's all right, but our time's marching on. And
Yes, I know.
And if does any board member quickly
Question.
question to Cindy? Well, no question, Cindy, you've done a good job explaining to us.
Is that
Karen have anything
Karen,
to add?
yes.
No, I think we're all under control. Sumi's the one that organises when we visit Yubitsu, and so we still all have to liaise together as Sister City and Malvern Community Board. So everyone's not, so I suppose my only comment is that the Malvern Community Board make any decisions or anything, that we keep our communication flowing between Sister City, and because we do all need to work together.
All right, that's-
100%.
I think we've learnt that loud and clear the last few weeks, and we will take out. Well, for sure, you will do that. Yeah. So thank you.
Thanks.
Shall we go
Thank you.
back
Oh, you,
to the?
am I allowed to stay here a little
Yeah.
bit, or are you finished?
They
Or-
can stay.
I'll stay here. Are you?
Are you not finished yet? Okay.
Okay.
No, I was we were gonna discuss the actions.
Yes.
Is that all right?
Yes.
He's moving, please. Yeah.
Okay, so can I request the council to around the rationale for the Sister City Garden project not progressing after the design phase that had been drafted in 2020. So the landscape concept plan was done. I believe it is available because I've seen a copy. I think John might have a copy.
Can I just look at the ERA, Garfield, they want to get involved down there now, but we can't have two people involved in that whole thing down there, that the Japanese part is very small. But I walked around it this morning, the whole thing needs tidying up. Now, for instance, there's two whacking big trees in the neighbour's place, and they've got some kind of green fruit hanging over the. I mean, it's not just, the whole thing needs tidying up and some money spent on it. So I don't know.
So this action is understanding why it was not. So the landscape concept plan was done in 2020 for a Japanese garden, and it did not progress to the design phase. It had a funding available, but it didn't go through. So the question back is to council is, why did it not progress after the design phase? And can we have a distribution of the Westview Special Fund Trust? Where did all?
So I can take those questions
Yes,
on and
please.
come back to the next board meeting.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And then it's a case of, can we put a plaque where the cherry blossom tree is to commemorate the 25-year anniversary? And can we plant a new plant? Can we plant a new tree in the garden to commemorate the 10-year anniversary, to replace the tree that has died outside the front of the library, and then move the plaque into the garden? Yes.
Simi was going to find out about, can we get these kind of trees in New
It's
Zealand?
died.
It's in New Zealand, so the council has approved trees that they have a list of.
So,
Yeah, so when
that's the trees that died out there, or
it was an approved council,
Yeah,
a
but-
pagoda,
Japanese.
Japanese pagoda tree.
you can get them in New Zealand. can you?
Yes. It's coming from New Zealand. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was a request from.
They-
Sue, that-
They did request, however, we did like this is 10 years now, and then it's actually soil, and then our district is not suitable for this, then I'm sure Japanese people will understand that. So that the kind of the tree is not, I'm sure they can flexible about it.
All right, can
But,
I just,
yeah.
excuse me there, in a matter of interest of time, I think we'll get all these decisions back to the next meeting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whether there's any funding to carry on, we can upgrade the thing, order the tree by all means,
Yes.
and
Yes, it's for council to consider.
Yeah.
there is still one out there alive.
No, it's been
No, two are
cut
gone.
down. No, so Ubetsu planted one tree outside the Dartford Library. It has been
Three.
three.
Three trees, and there's still one alive.
No, is that?
Well, I let look the other day and I thought one was alive and two had gone.
I think they've taken them all away.
No, it's
They've taken two away.
2 away and 1 left.
Yeah.
Reserves.
Well, they
It wasn't.
anyway, look, we'll come back to this. I
Yeah,
mean,
is that all right? We'll table it for next month.
all right, can we move on? Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you so much.
Right, thank you so much, and it was really nice to
Thank you.
meet you all, and then
Because
yes,
you're important.
and yes.
Thing, you've got us organised to get over there in 28.
Well,
How's your anniversary
last-
going on? The simply
Well,
left.
the community board
For the
didn't
school.
manage it.
Yeah, tomorrow. Yeah.
Shame.
Thank you. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Looking
Thank
forward to
you.
working
Thank
with you.
you.
Thanks.
Can I please move that my board report is received?
Move it, please.
I'm happy to move.
You're happy to move it?
Yes.
Second it?
Yep.
Thank
Barry,
you.
any further discussions? No discussions? All those aye.
Aye.
Thank you. We go to the chairman's report now. Very brief. He wasn't here. What do you do? Well, I've this is the things I attended there and did, and I'd just like to make a couple of comments on. I talked to that there. I thought the meeting at Springfield Hall was very well attended, and it's quite clear what the local people want to do, think about. The Bishop Creek flooding upgrade going to come on. That'll come under the now Councillor Berry arranged a meeting with me and Bex to meet the CEO of Selwyn Water Limited, and we had as I said there, it's a start to build a relationship with him, and I think that's important because that organisation is going to rate it separately for our water, so people get to know the fellow. And just as a matter of interest, we had a bit of common things, like he comes from a contracting family and I'm a contractor, so we got on all right. So it's made a start.
I'm a little concerned that that was arranged with such a limited representation from the community board. I have a strong interest in water and water infrastructure and a lot of skills in that area, and I'm pretty disappointed to find that sort of those communications are happening outside of the wider board members.
I think at the last meeting, he commented he'd like to get to meet us. It was just a cup of coffee, and that was all it was to it, sort of thing. It wasn't, at least he now knows who our chairman and deputy chairman and so forth is, just things like that. That wasn't meant to upset anyone or exclude anyone, but it's anyway, he's assured us he's more than welcome to come to our meetings and update us all together. All right. So can I move my report be received?
I'm happy to move that.
Happy to second it.
Okay. Look, I had underlined one line in there, and yeah, I'm sure you read it, but I was pushing and telling him that my view is that all capital works done by Selwyn Water Limited should go out to public tender. Or, yeah, I mean water upgrade. I don't mean the maintenance. So that's that gets passed. I think it goes to council to have a look at. All right.
I don't agree with that. There are occasions when business relationships within organisations that are valuable to be able to move projects and repairs, etc., quickly outside of a tender process. Tender processes are fine for major capital works.
So I mean, that's what I'm getting at.
That doesn't. No, but that doesn't say. This says all capital works. So, hang on, wait. There are organisations that I've been in that we've had trigger levels where tenders have to be done. So anything under 50,000, not anything between 50,000 and 150,000. This particular purchasing progress, and then outside that a different protocol. And I understand that Selwyn will have those sorts of protocols in place. So to put all capital works, I think that's excessive.
We can easily change the major if you like.
No, I would be following the tender process that the Selwyn District Council currently uses for its.
Selwyn Water is an independent council organisation. They'll be setting up their own procurement policy, and I think that procurement policy will set those thresholds. I think the principle of what's been stated, I think, is clear, and the procurement plan will direct Selwyn Water, and it's going to be their document that they'll work with your board. But what I can pass on, if you wish to help move this forward, is I can pass this on to Alex, and when Alex comes back to the next board meeting to give an update again, he can maybe give you a bit of an overview of how the procurement plan is going to look.
Certainly, thank you.
Can I, in relation to procurement, and I'm not sure quite how we talk to Selwyn Water, but is it possible to have a buy local rule put in place so that we get as many contracts? If we're going to spend money, let's spend it in the Selwyn district in Malvern. You know, and to me, that's a key on keeping our investment in our local area.
I can bring an update back.
Yeah, and same for council for that matter.
All right, so
Is it-
I mean,
Sorry, just a question. Is it okay to get a copy of SWL's strategy? Because that might be useful, and maybe a lot of our questions might already have been answered in the strategy
The
plan.
water service delivery plan is already drafted and available on your website.
Oh, okay.
This water strategy is being drafted at the moment, and a number of other procedural documents are being built at the moment as part of the transition process. But I can pass these on to Alex as part of his next brief.
all right, well, you want me to change that to well, Barry, what would you like?
I don't think you need to change it, Mr. Chair. I think it's just note the comment and
Yeah.
bring an
All right.
update back.
Yeah, that'll be.
All right, with that provision, I'll put the resolution, will be favoured, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Bex is now.
So meetings I've attended, I've been to Glen Tunnel, there's a table issued for a bit there at First Park, but the council's got it on order, so it'll be there soon, finally. There's concern regarding contamination of the water and that flows through White Cliffs and Glen Tunnel at the moment. And I'm currently working with ECAN, excuse me guys, got a wee frog in my throat, about it and trying to work out why the river's unusable, what they're doing to rectify it, and these questions currently with the ECAN science team to come back to give me documentation of why and what can happen to try and make it not happen again. Excuse me. The new rubber road looks like it's going in. I haven't sent out because we're still not sure of dates, possibly the 12th or 13th, most probably the 13th, just for the board to know roughly. All things going well. And I'm catching up with Steve Guy about that tomorrow. With the locals, attended a meeting with Councillor John Berry to do with the Sheffield Play Shop, which is sort of separate from the locals, but all part of the same group. The submission's closed for NZTA on the 6th of March, and so we're just in the process of pulling that together between John and myself, and he's been fantastic with helping with that. And New Zealand Police were there as well to offer questions, and no, I'll start with that. Yes. Yeah, Alan. Yeah, I was about to say Alan helped out. He's done quite a lot of with the plans for everything as well. Go Horada children's playground's now been completely rebarked. They've got a nice soft base underneath that. Chairs and tables been completely repaired, repainted. The tennis court was due to be done this week, but due to all the rain, it's delayed other projects, which delayed that. So that's going to be in the start of March. The entrance gate's been completely repowder coated and painted red. It looks absolutely phenomenal. We've just refenced the whole area beside it where there's a hangar, and they've resorted it so that we've got animals can come in and just tidy it up a bit more. The main things that they wanted me to champion were look at putting a heritage trail in the domain, a footpath from the cafe to the domain, and a zebra crossing between the domain and the hall. So I'm going to be working through that. Sent it via Steve briefly, and I'll be, when I catch up with Steve by tomorrow, that will be being hassled with him with that one. And Vanessa talked a couple of meetings ago about the speed limit in Horata, and the Goharata completely support her in that one. And so I'll be moving forward with what I need to do to make that happen as well. Coleridge, I was unable to go to due to a wedding, and so Barry McKenzie and Councillor Wilshire attended that on my behalf, and in the process of working with Steve to get Selwyn Water Cord and the infrastructure at Selwyn District Council all together to try and sort out all the issues. And Karen Mears, who was here just before, is working with me with that. And there's a damaged fireplace that's been damaged for over a year, and we finally got that fixed just the other day, so that's fantastic. And last but not least, the grotto. We had a public meeting on the 11th of February and met some new people that had just moved to the area that just saw Christmas and just want to be an elf and come in with us. And the result of the whole thing was that we formed a group of 4 people who are going to be on a committee, and there's still going to be a lot of people that will come in and help with other jobs, but just to move it forward, we need to look at getting funding, which I'm working on. Someone was supposed to get hold of me from Frontier, hopefully. And we'll work through that. And with regarding the Kiwi Rail, I've rang them yet again. They've told me they'll get back to me again, and for the damage that's done at the railway station. So, but Samuel Wilshire and I, after our last meeting, went there and scrubbed off some of the words that we could, but the others are burnt on. So it needs to be completely key rail. That's me. Thanks.
Thank you. Are you going to move your adoption of your report?
Yes, I move.
Yeah,
Second
second
it.
it. Right. Any questions or discussions? Right. All in favour, say aye.
Aye.
Thanks, Gary. Thank you. Gary, yours is next.
So water mains upgrades just about done, and they've got the path work, and they've done a really great job. Actually, contractors up there and work well with the community. We had so Doc have not supplied any portaloos up at the Punchbowl car park this year, so there have been issues with toilet paper and deposits in that area. So I've raised that with Doc, and interestingly, the press have picked it up as well.
Wonderful.
So we'll see what blood that draws. I've been working sensitively along a path towards looking at the speed limit and speed limit exceedances in Arthur's Pass. So actually, I spoke with a lady from LTNZ this morning, and so we'll see where that goes. So I'm a little interested to see an email come through from James Cagle to John and I recently, which kind of put a can on some of that. So that's going to be a work in progress. And yep, that's pretty much what's happening up at the other far end.
Thank you. You going to move it, adoption, please? You move your adoption.
I'll move that.
I'll second.
Second it. Any discussion? Can I just ask, what is the speed limit through there? Is it 60? I mean,
It's 50.
It's 50.
It's 50, and so the Other Parts Association have delegated myself and Neil Smart, chairman, to look at that, and we've actually communicated through with Tim Mason and Gareth Morgan, and Gareth's given us a delegated right to communicate with the outside organisations, police and LTNZ, as if we were part of SDC formally. So that's been quite good. So we'll truck along that in parallel to the other avenues that are being pursued.
Okay. John, yeah.
Do the police do enforcement?
So yes, the police do enforcement, and I have attempted to contact the road policing unit and manager, but all of these government organisations hide behind a great firewall, so you have struggle getting to a person, and so but I was referred back to STC and to LTNZ as the stakeholders that primarily control that roading corridor. So that was a little interesting that police didn't want to engage in that. And I do know that LTNZ have in the last round of legislation had put back to them speed camera, mobile speed camera enforcement, and presumably on those corridors, static speed camera enforcement. So the conversation I had today led me to believe that those things could be part of the conversation that we progressed. So at this point, it's pretty sensitive, and I'm actually not at liberty to go into any further discussion on it in a public forum.
Well, thank you very much, Barry. The mobile speed cameras, you know, are down twice of the moniker. I mean, they're being used all over the place now.
Yeah, they are.
And,
They are. So it's a matter of getting up the batting list, I think.
and supply and demand.
Well, it's about risk and and it's statistic driven. So whilst we don't have a lot of traffic accidents in that little short length of corridor, neither have the other areas that are currently under review, with exception of those fatalities in those two particular areas. So the statistics don't always tell you the story. And what I did in my conversation this morning talked about was that this is not a statistical driven thing. This is risk driven. So we need to be able to identify by some forms what the risk is, and then be able to elevate that to a statistical output.
Right.
And so that was going to be part of the discussion. So it's quite a wide platform to be able to talk about.
All right. Well, thanks, Barry. Now, the resolution.
Barry, can you move?
I've moved it, yes.
And
Thank you. Yeah.
no further discussion. All opposed, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Yes, carried. Alan, last but not least. Last but not least.
No, that's
Almost
excellent. I don't mind a bit pulling up the rear.
No,
That's
you've
all
got
right.
still to come.
The resolutions from the last meeting related to the report from council regarding designation of land for Darfield. Haven't seen anything on that yet.
It was
there-
fun.
Sorry, Alan, that's the workshop that's going to happen in April.
Oh, sorry.
On to that.
Okay, that's fine. Okay. And so also a letter to the ministry at the same time, I take it, about the idea, because I was reading again the frustration of council. So government don't want to diversify the income stream, so that we have to rely on rates. But if we rely on rates and the rates have to be capped, which they're probably going to be, there's going to be a lot less discretionary spend, and a lot more requirement for our communities to actually do things for themselves instead of using council as a piggy bank. So, which is a bit of a worry. I attended the Springfield Hall meeting, which was excellent. Thoroughly enjoyed it and learned a lot there. And followed up. Al Lorne and his team were out here yesterday for civil defence training and did an excellent job. And they were also pretty aligned to some of our own thinking, which was really nice to see in terms of things that we want to do. Visited the marae with the council. First time we've ever visited a marae, which was quite a fascinating visit, and we were made most welcome. Was a little bit, one of the major concerns was the state of the lake and the state of the water in the lake, and a lot of that we can blame on our friends at ECANS. However, we just made a suggestion about them using autonomous barges to run solar power and filtration systems to take on board water, discharge it back to the lake for cleaning. Interestingly, I've found a firm in New Zealand who actually do those filtration systems, and each rack would do approximately 5.25 million litres of water a year per rack. So a barge with 5 of them on, you could clean up 25 million litres of lake water. So if they could get half a dozen of those floating around the lake, we'd get it reasonably clean. We've got to think outside the square, because if we don't, nothing's going to happen. Visited Age Concern Canterbury. Emily Johnson came out, so I popped into her drop-in and immediately felt a lot older. And she was good. She's have more drop-in meetings out here. But it's good that they're actually offering a service for the elderly people of the district if they need assistance and help. And there's a lot of involvement there that they can do, and we should be working with them. On the 10th meeting with John and Ben Holmes relating to Sheffield Pie Shop, that relate to those drawings there that were prepared to be with the help there, and Santa's Grotto. And yeah, that was good feedback from the community meeting there, and we've got a good committee now running it, so the MCB can sort of step back a bit. Darfield Residents Association, I forwarded the Welcome to Darfield sign design to them, which was they were discussed with Harvey. I gave him an indicative cost on them that he expected to pay around 3,500 to 4,500 per sign, and they think that's too expensive. So I don't know how they're going to get signs put up for nothing. But anyway, and the design drawings you've seen related to the Norwood and Aylesbury Road, which can go forward later on, and then I'm also following up with Steve on the Colgate public toilets and township water. And that is all I have for you.
Thank you. You move though?
I'd like to move, you would accept my report, please.
Okay.
Second it.
No, I think John's got it this time.
Yes.
All right, any further discussion on Alvin's report, anything there? All right, put the resolution on, that's all right.
Aye.
Yeah. Now, John, your turn.
I'll move my report be taken as read.
Yep.
And the only comments is that would like to thank Mr. Dawson, the chair of the Springfield Community Association, for the fantastic meeting, and would like to, through Steve, thank the Selwyn District Council staff for their attendance. There was people from the 3 divisions and the community halls, the emergency management and infrastructure, and that was well attended with 75 people. And the community survey that the residents associations, especially Emma Steed, helped put online, got some great responses. In summary, it was Selwyn District Council retain the hall, look after the major costs, work with the community to do a workable costing, and maybe contracting and seeing how much can be done local to save expenses on the minor expenses. So that information's been fed back to Catherine at SDC, who's working with that, and then there's going to be further consultation in relation to the halls generally. In relation to the speed reviews, I'm happy if the board wants to, or someone else can, the board can, to draft a submission, and if I was to draft it, I could circulate it on Saturday for comment. It's due back on the 6th of March.
I understand Bax had already volunteered to do that.
Oh, okay.
Last meeting.
All right, sorry, okay then.
And you
So
were going to, sorry.
Good. So that's it for me.
Thank you.
Chairman, no, it's out of order, but if I could just speak.
Come up a bit, come up a bit.
Where'd I go?
It's just
So
here.
John,
On behalf of the Springfield Residents Association, it was wonderful that John put this meeting together. The turnout of Malvern Community Board and council staff was excellent, and the community turned out and voiced their opinion. The survey reflects that. And the only thing I can add is if you want a cheap venue for your meetings, Springfield will do your deal.
We should
Thank you very
take that
much.
on.
Mark.
Excellent.
Perhaps we could go up there for one or two of our strategy meetings.
That's the thing, isn't it? Yeah.
Hmm.
All right, any further discussion on John's report? So, Bex, are you going to do the LTZA?
yes, I wanted to wait to that meeting that we had in Sheffield, that the pie shop for, and it's just coming together.
And I think you were going to include the Kirby
We
one
will,
as well.
yeah.
Thank you.
All right, someone seconded that?
Yes.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
It's carried, thank you. Now, the financial report, it's on the back page there somewhere.
One error, John.
Steve?
The dark sky, the night skies thing. You've got everybody else, but I attended that as well.
Oh, sorry, my apologies.
It's
Sorry,
so dark. you
like-
couldn't see
like-
it, Gary.
Sorry?
It's so dark, you couldn't
Yeah,
see.
yeah, it was a pretty dark night. Yeah, I didn't have my headlights on, so.
Happy to take the finance report as read.
I have a question.
Okay, Samantha.
What happens to any of these the budget if it's not used by July? So for example, the advertising budget, there's still $3,000 in there. What happens if you don't use it? Does it roll over to next year, or each year you reset the budget?
There's a budget reset, but as we experienced last financial year, that the board did agree to some expenditure to be journaled across, but it has to be by approval from council. But essentially, I guess that's the key point, is that you've got budget, you've got, I think I can see is the board's developing a really strong plan of attack. Make sure you spend the dollars to get the best bang for your buck for your community.
Can you convert it? So say you don't want to use, I don't know, the training budget, but you want to move it to general expenses. Can that be?
By
Is that
approval of the board, the
Yeah.
board can make a decision to under expend in one area and over and expend in the other, with
Okay.
the net result
Okay.
being the
Thank you.
budget.
Right, does that help?
Thank you.
In my experience, the only carryovers generally were within capital expenditures where projects may not have been completed and the money was actually advanced into the next year, so those projects could be completed, not in a what we would call an operational budget like we're talking about.
Okay.
So, but because it's a targeted rate as well, there is a reserve. So if you don't spend it, it goes on the reserve balance, which is noted on the bottom line.
Okay.
So it doesn't get dispersed across the entire district. It stays within the area that the targeted rate was established for.
Right, to
Understand.
help, isn't it? All
Yes.
right. So, no further questions, I'll put the resolution. All votes aye.
Aye.
Yes, carries. Now, under general business, we have two items.
Yeah. So when does the draft budget for 1st of July onwards need to be decided and discussed by the board? Would need to have in March, wouldn't it? So it could go through to council by April.
Yeah, that would have to, I think, do it in March, and that would also coincide with the board's submission on plan. And to a degree, you've already made one decision today, which is going to inform the cost basis for the targeted rate. But it's what other things does the board want to do, and that can be part of that submission process.
Because I think the sister cities probably needs a revision upward.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Now, there was two items of general business, one that I brought up, and one that John brought up. To John's first part.
Oh, the Darfield Residents Association asked me to mention about getting the Homebush station on the was it protected buildings or historical buildings register. So if that could be noted as an action, please.
Oh, yeah, let's see. The railway station, Homebush, all right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll just leave that to Steve to progress.
If we make that as an action on me, I'll come back with what the process is, and happy to talk through you, John, to Harvey, to advise what might need to happen and how we do it.
Because you don't need to note this, but apparently the ferries from the forest came and replaced a couple of rotten boards in the floor.
Love ferries.
Mean sheet.
You can import some of those ferries at the council.
We've got a lot of ferries.
They don't cost a lot of money.
Now, under general business, I had a thing, and that was just to talk about the portfolios, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And, you know, how do you want to do that? Pete, you want a special meeting, or you want to do it 5 minutes now, or?
Can I just add my thoughts before we
Certainly.
discuss it?
Yeah.
So I understand the intent of the council's proposal to have one person to sort of liaise through around the NZTA. But I just wanted to share a few of my thoughts. One, as an elected member of community, I feel that it's important for community members to have access to the elected member to discuss any issues that they have in the community. And I look at just over the last month with Kerwi, supporting them with the roading issues, the junction issues, changing the stop signs, new development, the water. Yes, it's a range of issues, but having me there means that I'm accessible to them. I was able to engage with NZTA and council, and then respond back in a very short frame of time to the community, and I think the community appreciates that. So I guess the question is, if you're wanting to change a process, and maybe it's my engineering background, you change it for two reasons: making a process efficient or cost reduction. So the question here is, who's actually our customer, and do we actually need to change the process? Because all you may be doing is moving the challenges that maybe the council feels to the community side, because then the community will then may have 2 or 3 people to deal with, when before they would have just had one to deal with. So just to keep that in mind as we sort of move into the workshop and move into the discussion. Also, with working on those issues, it was a lot of engagement, a lot of communication, analyzing information. It is actually a little challenging to try and feel that through one person, because you need to understand the information yourself and deal directly with that NZTA or council to be able to understand that information and then pass it on to the community. So that's the other thing I will just leave on the table.
Okay, thank you. Well, I've voiced my view on how perhaps it should be organised, and it's open for discussion. And we have to decide today, or we can have a workshop for that.
It's your general business item, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, well, I prefer to take the workshop.
Yeah, and then we can sort of understand, you know, your case and the further details, because maybe we can meet somewhere in the middle. So that's okay.
It may be that different areas need drawing out in different ways, and until we can actually sit around a table and identify those, then we may not come to the best decision.
Okay. Right, so we'll leave it on the table, and we'll have a workshop. We'll arrange a meeting for the workshop.
And when would you like to meet?
Well, we've got one on the 19th, haven't we? No,
That day's going to be a bit busy.
that's a busy one. Yeah.
It needs to be early, doesn't it? Because for council.
We do the 12th or Thursday previous.
Well, we can let's put it down for the 12th and see. And it's just a workshop here, or at Springfield even.
Workshop Sheffield, yeah.
What time would you like it?
You do listen.
Might look like it.
Brian, we always listen to you.
That's a super day.
Yeah, because I guess what we want to do is try and get a sense of, you know, what are the things you want to ask and have discussed at this session at your next board meeting. So ideally you have this portfolio conversation in advance of that. But it's not to say that this is going to be a bit of an evolving picture as you land what a portfolio looks like and how you make it work, if that's where you get to. So it's not a real hard time frame, but I'd recommend you might want to get onto it relatively early, especially as we get into an annual plan and then into a long-term plan process, so that you can then start to build up that knowledge and that understanding of that particular area, if that's the way you go.
So did we agree on the 12th of?
12th is a Thursday.
Yes, it's a Thursday.
Okay, and
what time?
What time suits everybody? I mean, we not all day, is it?
Couple of hours, afternoon, 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock.
Well, 2 o'clock, plus 2. Barry, where will you be hiding?
I have no idea. And actually, it's an hour and a half from Arthur's Pass, and it's an hour from Christchurch. So either way, it doesn't really matter.
No. Yeah. All right. Well, look, what say we say 2 o'clock?
Yep.
2 o'clock on the 12th.
But we have it at Sheffield. If it's going to be easier for Barry.
Oh no, it doesn't. It doesn't really matter. No, he is comfortable. Yeah, and it's another 15-20 minutes. It's neither here nor there.
So 2 o'clock, did you say?
2 o'clock at Dartford for this one. Yeah. And will we talk to you, Steve, about any experts from your team that we need?
Shall I send an invite out?
Yeah, can somebody put out invites for both of those meetings, please, for the 19th and
Okay,
the
thanks.
12th?
If you can send the invite to me for the 12th, then I can talk to our team and see who might best come out and just offer some advice or just a set of ears,
Hmm.
if you want.
Sure, we should create that. Just a But invite.
Oh, I'm just doing it.
Oh.
Just doing it.
Are you happy with that? Thanks.
Yeah.
All right, well, I think that concludes the meeting.
Yep.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you, Ryan.